Hey guys, Kymron Camper Man, Brian here. Well, I wanted to give you guys an update and take you along on my adventure here because I am driving about 685 miles to Muskogee, Oklahoma to pick up an excavator. And I'm going to be camping out of my Moonlander. I got our UTV trailer in tow, and I'm going to get that picked up. So I wanted to give you guys a quick update, let you know what's going on, talk a little bit about this excavator, and then it's going to be a trip video. You guys are going to see me out on this trip here to go get this excavator. So I'll put chapters below, so if you guys want to skip ahead to any one of the things, just look below here. So let me give you a little bit of an update and let you know what's been going on. So one of my last videos I did was an update video from probably about 6 months or so ago, and that was saying that we had a little baby girl, which we did. She's about 7 months old now, and life's been kind of crazy. You know, I do this in my free time, and obviously I work full time. I own a painting business, and I also do Christmas lighting, and that's been crazy, especially the last month here. Basically from the end of October until the beginning of December, I no joke work between 85 to 100 hours a week, and there's just no free time to do stuff like this. So, but the other thing is too, with the new addition to our family, we did not go camping one single time this entire summer. In fact, we didn't take the cover off the camper until I think like mid-June, beginning of July. It was pretty bad. We had scheduled a couple trips, but for one reason or another, we ended up having to cancel those. So we didn't even go camping. So it's kind of hard to shoot camping videos and content when you don't even go camping. I went camping one time in the Moonlander, which I did do an update video on the Moonlander, and then I shot some other videos, but that's about it. A couple other updates with that too, some big things that have happened over this time frame is we ended up selling our camper. So I do still have the Moonlander, so don't worry, we're still going to go camping. But my wife and I had decided that our camper with the new addition was going to be a little bit tight for probably the next 3 years or so. So even if we were going to go camping, you know, babies they have so much stuff. And it was just going to be super tight. And so we decided to sell it because we're also paying for storage and we're just not using it. And our camper was a 2010. It was starting to show its age. Some repairs and maintenance things were starting to come up. And I saw a lot of expensive repairs coming up in the future. So campers are a dime a dozen. We had considered upgrading our camper. So we're like, you know what? Why don't we get rid of our camper now? We'll save that money away. And then when we're ready to buy another camper, you know, we'll be able to do so. And we're going to get something that's going to have a little bit more floor space and stuff like that. And another reason why we decided to sell the camper and why we didn't go camping is because we actually bought a different property that's a little bit bigger than our last property. And it actually has a small cabin on it. So we've been staying there. We stayed there a lot over the summer. So instead of going camping, we went to our little cabin instead. And, you know, I could do a whole video on the differences between going to a cabin and camping. But given the choice of staying between the two, like camping on our land or going to our cabin, we went to the cabin every time. I mean, especially with the kids and everything, it's a lot less work. You don't have to worry about towing, and it's just easier. So because we bought that property too, we actually sold our other property, the one that we called Big Bear that you guys saw us camping at. We ended up selling that. So it was same thing there. We just were not going there as much since we bought the other property, and we're like, why are we hanging on to this? We're not going there. There's maintenance stuff that we need to do. You always kind of have it in the back of your mind and worry about it. You know, if people are going there and poaching, you know, if they're staying on your land, they're squatting, whatever. You have to worry about all that stuff, especially if you're never going there. So we ended up just selling that and to help pay for the new property, and then we sold this other property that we had up in the mountains up near Salida. It was a property that we thought we were going to build on. We ended up just getting rid of that to help pay for this other property. So that's exciting. I'll probably be showing some more videos of that here to come. It's definitely a completely different piece of property. It's bigger than our other one. It's different in the aspect that it's not all flat and usable like our last one. You know, if you want to get a larger piece of property in Colorado anymore these days, it's just so expensive. And so we got what we could afford, which because of that, we got some areas where there's no trees, it's just grass, and the back part of the property is trees, but it's also on a hill, which is actually really cool because there's a lot of very diverse terrain, and it's a lot more high elevation too. The top part of our property is at 10,200 feet. It's really neat. And I'm going to talk about that with the excavator, but we're going to develop that back part there to where we can take the Moonlander and we can camp and things of that nature, because it's awesome back there. So, which I guess is a good segue into the excavator and why we're buying that. So let's talk about it. So I am driving to Muskogee, Oklahoma to buy a Kymron YH14 Mini Excavator. This is a Chinese mini excavator with a gas-powered engine, and I'm going to do an entire video on this mini excavator because I'm sure some of you guys who have property and may have seen some of my previous videos with using an excavator on our land may be interested. So I'm going to do a video specifically on that. That'll be later. Why am I driving all the way here to get it? Well, you guys may have seen, you can actually buy these Chinese mini excavators on eBay. Apparently you can order them through like Alibaba or whatever that site's called. And if you go on Facebook or Craigslist, you can find guys who bought these at auction and are selling them. And they're about $6,000 to $8,000 somewhere in there. Well, a lot of those ones, they don't come with a warranty. There's really no company backing or anything like that. It's just directly from China. And, if you have issues with it, it's kind of a, good luck scenario. These guys in Oklahoma, the company's called Kymron, they have these Chinese excavators, but they tweak them to make them a little bit better. They change out the hydraulic pump on them. They add a hydraulic thumb to them, better roll cages. They do a lot of different things to make them better. And there actually is support. If you need to get parts, you can call them and order them. And I just thought that would be a lot better way to go, because this is a pretty decent purchase for sure. The one we're buying is going to be about $10,000. I'll put a link in the description where you can check it out. But yeah, I mean, we have rented excavators twice on both Big Bear, our old property. I'll put a link to that video of when I rented an excavator, and our new property here. And combined, when we rented those excavators, I rented them each for a week. We spent about $3,500 on rentals. And for those of you who own or have owned any type of significant size property, once you get over 5-10 acres, hand tools just do not do certain projects. And that's all there is to it. We have been going back and forth on should we get an excavator, should we buy a tractor, should we get something, because it really gets to a point where you really do need something. So we went back and forth between a tractor and a mini excavator. And tractors, if you were to get like a small Kubota with a backhoe, which some say is less powerful than like a dedicated machine like a mini excavator or a skid steer, but they're going to run you about $25,000. Besides that, it wouldn't fit on our trailer. We'd have to get a new trailer. So a couple of the reasons we got the mini excavator was, one, it's more affordable. Two, it will actually fit on our trailer. Our payload capacity on our trailer is enough for the mini excavator because it just weighs a little over 2,000 pounds. And the mini excavator will also easily fit in our shipping container. So those are some of the reasons. And I really liked operating the mini excavator when we had it on our previous property, Big Bear. I made over 2 miles of trails with it. I had developed a berm, a hill that we already had on there, and bermed up a bunch of ground, and we had a really nice shooting range there. I had developed some campsites and just did a bunch of other miscellaneous projects. And I like I said, I rented for our new property here. I ran an excavator for a week as well, and I did 40 hours worth of work. And you know, we still have plenty of projects to do, that's for sure. Projects that we're going to be doing at the new property. First off, I do want to do a campsite and kind of level out the flat ground, or kind of the flatter spot up by where our trees are on the back side of the property, so that we can pull the truck up there, we can camp, and then from there, I want to make a trail to the top of our hill. We gain about 300 feet in elevation just in that little section there, and there's no way we can get our UTV up there right now. And then at the top of the hill, my son and I would like to build a little log cabin with trees from our property. That's kind of always been a dream of mine. And around our cabin too, we want to build essentially a trench around the cabin, because the guy who built the cabin just had the walls go straight down to the crawl space, and we're getting mice that are just going right underneath the wall, getting into our crawl space, and they're going up to our attic. And we had dug by hand a trench on one side and put pea gravel there, and it has stopped the mice coming from that side. But we had to hand dig it, and it's a lot of back-breaking work. So we're going to use the Mini X to just make a barrier around the whole cabin. We also need to add a cistern to our well, because we have a pretty low producing well, and so we're going to add a cistern. And there's just a ton of projects that we want to do. So we're going to get really good usage out of this mini excavator. And the way we're looking at it is, you know, while we are going to have to store it, we are going to have maintenance on it. It's a gas machine, so I can maintain it myself, because it's a Briggs and Stratton motor, which is awesome. So it's just like a big lawnmower motor, and I've worked on those myself before in the past, and you know, I can do the maintenance on it. I'm sure I can figure out the hydraulics and all that stuff if I need to, or take it to a shop. And with the excavator, ultimately, you know, we're going to spend about 10,000 bucks on it. Let's say it doesn't work out, or we're not using it as much, or whatever, we end up having to sell for 6,000 or 7,000, something like that. We figure while we would be taking a loss, we would have spent that in rentals. So we feel like it's a no-lose situation, at least in our perspective. We'll see how it works out, but we're really looking forward to being able to use it, and we think that it's going to work out great on our property. So that's pretty much the update, and we'll talk a little bit about the excavator. I'll show you guys some excavator footage at the very end, because I am going to be taking it up to our new property here in a couple days, because I'm on my break from when I put Christmas lights up to when I take them down. So I'm going to get started with our trail. We don't have too much snow up there, and the ground has not frozen yet, because we're south facing, or our mountain is south facing, so at least right now it hasn't froze yet. So I'm hoping to be able to get some work done before it really starts snowing up there, and before the ground freezes. But for now, yeah, enjoy my adventure to go get my excavator. Alright guys, well I am all loaded up, got the excavator loaded up. Now it's time to start heading back, and I'm gonna go do some camping here. Don't know where I'm gonna camp yet, but it's time to head out. Alright, well here's where I'm staying. I'm in Blackwell, Oklahoma. Got some nice Christmas lights there. This is the fairgrounds. There's actually a dump station right there. I found this on freecampsites.net. It doesn't say you can camp here, but it doesn't say you can't. It says no semi-parking. So I'm hoping this is going to be good. But I just need to get a good 4 to 5 hours of sleep and then get back on the road. Alright guys, well, I got things set up in the Moonlander for the most part. Got my bed set up. I did end up covering the windows just because I'm in like a public place, and while you can camp here, it's kind of weird just having the windows open because the windows are pretty tall, but people can still like look in, and I don't know, I just think that's weird. So, but I do have like on the porthole window here, I just put this painter's plastic so I can still look out if need be. And then the front window here, I just have covered with pillows, and there's a highway that I took there. So there is... Somebody just drove by, which is kind of weird. I thought I heard some people out there. I don't know how people can do stealth camping. Or just park in neighborhoods and stuff. I'd be like worried the entire time. Especially with not having access to my cab, where I have to like get out of the camper and go. So like if there was something sketchy going on, like I'd have to jump out of the back of the truck and then move to the front. I'm gonna get my sink set up so I can brush my teeth, and then I'm getting my stove ready here too. Excuse me. So in the morning, when I wake up, I can just make coffee and just get on out of here. I'm sure some of you guys are wondering what I'm doing for the bathroom. Well, right here I have my toilet. This is a Camco toilet seat. I did do some business in there earlier, so I won't gross you guys out with that, but this 5-gallon bucket is sawdust. And basically what you do is you do your business and put a bunch of sawdust in there, enough to make sure that all your business is covered and there's no smell. It's in here and there's no smell, which is super nice. So much better than the chemical toilets. The chemical toilets are disgusting. I had one of those, and dumping that thing in your toilet at the end of a trip was so gross. This is way better. This is the first time I'm trying out the trash bag on here. Normally, since I own a painting business, I just do my business in there when I'm done, because I get a bunch of 5-gallon buckets, I put a lid on it, and then I just throw it away. So, there you go. Well, good morning, guys. If you can even call it that, it is 12:58 a.m. local time. It's 11:58 p.m. back home. Got a little cold, didn't sleep super good. You can see my breath really good, but I don't think it's that cold. I don't know. I just have blankets in here. I feel like that's a lot more comfortable. I do have my 0-degree sleeping bag, but I'm just heating up some water here. I'm going to make some coffee, and then I'm going to get on the road. I have about an 8-hour drive left, so get this coffee made and then get back on the road. Listening to the Wilderness series. It's a 70-book series about like this mountain man. Pretty good stuff. Alright guys, well welcome to our new property. Crazy windy today. We're supposed to get a storm here. It's supposed to snow like, I don't know, 8 inches or something tomorrow, something like that. But this is kind of the back side of our property. You guys saw the front where we were doing the shipping container, where we're gonna put the excavator. This is more the back side. We own the top of this hill up here too. So the goal is to get the excavator, you can kind of see it back there maybe, make a trail through there and kind of up the gully because it's flat on the top of that hill. But there's a lot of elevation gain from here to there. It may not look like it, but we're at 9,900 feet here. That goes up to 10,200 feet. So we're gaining 300 feet, so I'm gonna be zigzagging kind of on our back property and everything. But eventually I am gonna level out a spot right here where we are to be able to put the Moonlander, be able to camp. We have kind of this flat aspen grove here, and it'd be a great spot to camp. So let's go ahead and get to it on building that trail. Alright, well I finished a portion of the trail, or at least the start of it. This is super steep, like right here. I took a picture of this with my phone. It said we're at 23 degrees right there. And that's kind of the least steepest part of what I just did. Up there, it's gotta be 30 or more for sure. I may end up having to do more bench cuts, which is where you go across. So like from here, just cut over and then zigzag back and just do that up there, up to the top of our mountain there. But we will see. The ground is extremely rocky and the excavator actually did a very good job. I got them all lined up here, all the rocks, kind of show where the trail is. But yeah, I mean it did a good job digging through all these rocks for sure. Just it's a little steep, and I'm still a relatively new operator, that's for sure. But it's working out good so far. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna get this baby loaded up. Thank you very much for checking out the video. Let me know what you think of the excavator and projects you're looking forward to. Throw a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing it in the next one.